Yesterday we sketched the 7 qualities of Kalyana Mitta, good companion or good teachers. Whichever undertaking you may do, it is essential to choose Kalyana Mitta who possesses these 7 qualities. Whether you are doing the worldly job or the Dhamma work, you need that, more so especially when you are undertaking the practice of the Dhamma. You need more. You should choose more carefully. So to be able to choose systematically is very important, as is given in this expression, Yathabhuta Jnanaya Sattha Pariyasitavo. To understand the realities, one must seek out a teacher. That means Kalyana Mitta. When you are able to depend on such good persons, Kalyana Mitta, you will have the chance to hear the sublime Dhamma, Sarama Savana. And in this Dhamma there will be things which will arouse your faith and confidence, Sada, or Samvega, sense of urgency. Then when you listen to such talks, your faith and Sada will awaken, and also the sense of urgency will become developed. So this gives you a way or means of shaping your life, fashioning your life. Not only knowing the ways, but also you will come to the stage of actually materializing these means. So just listening to such sublime talk, sublime Dhamma, you will come to the stage of actual implementation. Then it will be a real benefit of your life. Sadhamma means the sublime Dhamma, the Dhamma of the virtuous or good Dhamma, for the welfare of oneself and others, and so that one will be able to think, speak and act in a proper way, in a good way, such as virtuous actions. Whoever is able to apply these virtuous methods, he or she will give the method first, the theoretical aspect, then the practical way of practicing. Then there will be benefit realizing from the practice and utilizing or applying this result. If we are not fully aware of the method of practice, or first of all the moral conduct, how to sustain moral conduct, then we will not know how to sustain this. And because we cannot sustain this moral conduct, we will not be able to cultivate our physical and verbal behaviors. If we leave it like this, status quo, then we will not understand the method. If we cannot understand the method, then we will not be able to undertake, materialize this method. Then life will degenerate. Then you will be just ordinary human being, not above average human being. So first of all, you have to practice to be a real human being, to be a human being, and then from that stage you go to practice to update yourself and become above average. But towards this end, you learn the correct method of practice. Prior to the knowledge of this method, you are ignorant. As much as you are ignorant, your life is lowered. But when you study it and come to know about this method, then you become the knower of that method. First you are ignorant. Now you are knower of the method. You become knowledgeable in the method. In this way, you have uplifted your life in its own right, because you come to know the method of practice. Then you undertake that method. You materialize that method. You take up the practice, so that you are able to, you are grounded in sila, morality. Then practice to cultivate your mind and insight. As much as you are able to do that, you are able to conduct your physical, verbal, mental behaviors so as to become blameless, pure, uplifted, graceful and affable. That is because you know the method and you practice according to that method, and you uplift your life. And if only you are able to practice to attain the real peace, then whenever you have a chance, or any time, you will be able to apply the benefit, the advantages that you have gained. So when you come to this stage, you are said to have uplifted your life. Such is Dhamma in Pali, in Sanskrit Dharma, and other names according to the language that you use. But whatever language you use, the implied meaning is that Dhamma is something which will uplift your life instead of lower it. So Dhamma means, first of all, the method of practice. Secondly, we undertake that practice, that is patipatti, the real practice. Then we realize the result of that practice. We are rewarded by way of this benefit as a result of the practice. That is the third point. And fourthly, we can apply or use this advantage or benefit or result, and such is Dhamma or sublime Dhamma. If one can study it, study the first of all, study the correct method by listening, discussion, or reading relevant literatures. In that aspect also, we can say that you are a Dhamma practitioner or Dhamma practicer in your own right. That is the beginning. You are a Dhamma practicer, Dhamma bearer, by having studied the method. Then when it comes to practice, undertaking this practice according to the method, you become the Dhamma practitioner or the Dhamma bearer. Then we get the benefit of the practice. That also is Dhamma practitioner or Dhamma bearer. And you apply that result. That also is Dhamma practitioner or Dhamma bearer. Let us take the case of moral conduct. Before we know the method of practicing the sila, our life is not uplifted, our life degenerates. There are things to be abstained, and we take vows of undertaking, vows of undertaking not to kill, and so on, and you abstain from such things, abstentions. You study the method, then you actually abstain from what should be abstained. Such is sila bearer or Dhamma bearer as far as sila, morality is concerned. That also is Dhamma practitioner or Dhamma bearer. If you undertake that practice, if you can sustain this moral conduct, you will be able to purify your physical and verbal behaviors so that they become blameless. And that is the immediate benefit of the observance of moral conduct, so that you will be free from enemy within. Your internal enemies become subdued, pacified, so that you will be free from harm, free from transgressive types of defilements, emotions and passions. These are the nearest enemy within. Then these enemies within are more dangerous than external enemies. So now you are free from internal enemies, you find peace. This is your immediate benefit. Because your physical and verbal behaviors, you are pure by body and speech, you are free, you have pacified your enemies within. So if you think to yourself, you become satisfied with yourself. Satisfied in that you feel peace physically and verbally. And there will be no low self-esteem. In that you'll be free from attanuvara bhaya. That is your Pali expression. You're free from self-blame or low self-esteem. Not only that, you will not be censured by the community. You will not be blamed by the community. That is known as paranuvada bhaya. Blame by the society. You will be free from blame by the society. Because you are the Dhamma bearer, you will not fall into the states of loss, the unwholesome destinies, dugatipeya, or before that you will be free from being disciplined by the authorities. So you are free from 4 kinds of blames, 4 kinds of dangers or harms. And not only that, there are other things that you are able to be free from. Namely, if you have committed some more immoral deeds, ducharitas, then the victim of your ducharitas are bound to react, and you'll have to suffer from that. You'll be affected. So you are also free from such harm and dangers. In this way, you'll be very much satisfied with yourself with just the practice of morality. So, before you know the method of moral conduct, you are not able to practice that. At that time, your physical and verbal, your body and speech will be out of shape. Your physical and verbal behaviors will be out of shape, out of tune, out of fashion. Now you know the method and you practice according to what you know, so that both your body and speech, physical and verbal behaviors become properly shaped and fashioned. So this is quite satisfying. Once you are fulfilled with this basic conduct, then your physical and verbal behaviors will become properly fashioned and shaped. At this stage, especially in the practice of the Vipassana, where you guard yourself with vigilant mindfulness of every arising, then if you are able to note the immediately arising object with vigilant mindfulness, with energetic aim and precision, if you don't do that, your mind will be out of control. At the time, if there are objects which can arouse anger or ill will, you will be angry, you will be dissatisfied. And when you are confronted with objects which can arouse your passions, then you feel greedy or become covetous of others' properties. So such mentality can arise if you are not able to control it. And if there are objects which can arouse this passion and malice, you will feel greedy and angry, because you are not able to control your mind. Your mind is out of fashion, out of shape, so that your mind is said to be lowered, is said to have degenerated. And if you don't know how to control it and actually undertake that practice to control it, then your life will be lowered. And even if you know it, if you don't practice the control of your mind with the practice of Satipatthana, then also your life will be lowered, your mind will be lowered. So once you know the practice, and guard yourself with vigilant mindfulness of every arising, beginning with the main object of rising and falling, and every immediate object, noting with energy and precision. As you aim at the object, take an aim at the object, there will be no overshooting of the object. And there will be no thoughts of sensual pleasures. Your thoughts will not go to sensual pleasures because you are controlling it. There will be no thoughts of ill will, no thoughts of harm. Because you are applying energy to note the object, you will be able to grasp the object, and then by doing so, your impurities are said to be abandoned or overcome. Overcome by not giving chance to them to arise. Impurities are not given a chance to arise in your stream of consciousness. In this way, you are set. The impurities are said to be abandoned or overcome with application of energy. So, know that no impurities will enter your stream of consciousness. Once you are able to note with precision, energetically, so that the noting mind is concurrent with the object, then you are activating your mindfulness, sati. Sati will arise, will sustain, thus will protect your mind from impurities. This is another function of sati. If your mind is protected, then you will feel secure. And as you activate mindfulness, your noting mind will fall calm and collected on the objects of meditation, giving rise to momentary concentration. Then the mind is said to have become consolidated or just collected in one place. For 1 minute, if you are able to practice like that, you will be able to concentrate your mind 60 times at the rate of 1 second per moment of concentration, and in 5 minutes 300 times. So in this way, you have to learn how to concentrate your mind and undertake that practice, control in this way, by practice. Then your mind will be properly controlled and will be in shape, will be fashioned, will be shaped. Thus purifying your mind, cultivating them so that they become graceful. From the lower degenerated stage, you will become uplifted. Your life will become uplifted. Thus, Dhamma is said to uplift, sustain, help the Dhamma bearer, protects the Dhamma bearer. Such is the Dhamma. If you are able to note every arising object so as not to miss them, you are applying energy, and your energy will also become more and more powerful. The power of energy will arise, will rise up. So is the power of mindfulness, sati, and the power of samadhi, concentration. they will all become energized. So in this way, all these mental powers will come into your stream of consciousness. Once they come, you become very strong and powerful, energized. So that there will be no impurities coming to you, invading you. There will be no hindrances of progress, nivranas, such as the hindrance of sense pleasures, kamachanda nivranas, because you are gaining the upper hand of these hindrances of progress. But before you are able to reach the maturity of that practice, you will not be able to withstand. You will not be able to possess the demeanor of resistance or power of repellence against the unwholesome things. If you are able to, you'll be able to possess demeanor only when you are able to practice to cultivate knowledge, beginning with the insight knowledge of mind and body and the natural characteristics, the universal characteristics of the mind and body, so that your mind will become developed. If your mind, otherwise, you will not be able to possess this power of stamina. So, you will not be able to withstand the adverse conditions, good or bad conditions of worldly conditions, loka dhamma. It is very important to be able to withstand the conditions of the world, loka dhamma, good and bad conditions. Not only samadhi, but also you will be fulfilled with knowledge or wisdom, panya. Then only your mind will reach maturity. If your mind is weak, it will not become fully developed. Only when it becomes fully developed and it reaches maturity, you will be able to become balanced about good and bad conditions. There will be no gladness or sadness about desirable or undesirable objects that you come across. Instead, your mind will become balanced, and you will be able to withstand the worldly conditions. Such is this is because Dhamma is protecting you. Dhamma is helping, sustaining your Dhamma practitioner. Especially this concentration and wisdom, samadhi and panya. By learning the correct method, undertaking that practice, gaining the result, and being able to apply the result in terms of the path and fruition knowledge of the Noble Ones, the ultimate peace, so that you can apply this method of peace anytime you wish to do so. That's why you become, by that you become a Dhamma bearer or Dhamma practitioner. In this way, Dhamma helps, sustains, and protects and bears the Dhamma practitioner. Such is the sublime Dhamma. That's why Buddha said this expression, Dhamma have rekati Dhammacharim. That is, by learning the correct practice and undertaking that method respectfully and carefully, the Dhamma that you practice will protect you from harm, so that you are secure and free and and realize the peace. There is a correlation between the sadhamma savana, listening to the sublime Dhamma, and what is known as atta samapaniti, right self-regulation or practice. By learning the method of practice to fashion the physical, verbal, mental behaviors, you'll be led to take that practice to regulate yourself, so that you can conduct yourself, your behaviors in the right way, so that both are interdependent. And those who possess these two things, mostly will be able to give right attention, so that whatever they do, they will only let the skillful thing to arise in their mind. In other words, you can say these two things as a method and a practice, to be brief. So it won't be wrong to say that this Saddhamma Savana, listening to the sublime Dhamma, and this Atta Samapaniti, right self-regulation, conducting yourself in the right way, will shape and fashion both your mind and body, so that they will become beautiful and complete and prosperous. Now, the practice of Satipatthana Bhavana can be said to fashion and shape your life, so that your life, both your mind and body, will become beautiful and properly shaped, properly fashioned. And this is also leading to transformation of your life. This expression, Atta Samapaniti, is a compound word. If you just take them apart, we have this Atta. Here Atta is taken as mind, and Sama, correctly, and Paniti, keeping or regulating. So regulating systematically, regulating your mind systematically. To shape one's life, shaping mind is the criteria, it is the main thing. If the mind is not properly shaped, not properly fashioned, then the physical behaviors and verbal behaviors cannot be properly shaped, cannot be fashioned. Once you are able to shape your mind in a good way, properly, then your physical actions, physical behavior and verbal behaviors will become properly shaped and properly fashioned. Therefore, shaping or fashioning the mind is the main thing. That's why in the text is given this Atta, to take Atta as the mind. That shows that the emphasis is placed on shaping of the mind. In a sense, this Atta can be taken as a whole body. Atta Bhava, whole body, improving, cultivating the whole body. That means both body and mind is involved. That makes up the body, such as seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, thinking, bending, stretching, a whole body. Whatever happens in the whole body is what is meant here. So especially body, speech and mind, that makes up the whole body. And that is included in the mind. So that goes to say that, that goes without saying that mind also is to be included, to be shaped. Therefore, by saying Atta, we can take it as both body and the mind. So we need to shape both the body and the mind so that it becomes properly beautiful and fashioned. So as much as you are able to shape it, to cultivate it, they will become properly shaped and fashioned. In another sense, if one has no saddha, faith and confidence, one must arouse saddha, faith and confidence, so that one becomes fulfilled with this faith. And if one doesn't possess any moral conduct, basic conduct, one must practice sila to possess this basic moral conduct. And if one is envious, one should practice this generosity, chaga. In this way, one can cultivate one's behaviors by cultivating the saddha, cultivating sila, moral conduct, and generosity. And such also is given in the text as Atta Samapaniti, right self-regulation, or conducting oneself in the right way. In short, one should improve and cultivate one's thoughts, speech and actions. If these behaviors are not properly shaped. If they are not proper, if they are not properly trained or shaped, then one should be able to train, cultivate and shape these behaviors in the right way. And such also is given as Atthasamapanidhi in the text. Is also this Atthasamapanidhi also is very can be applied. It's very important in the arena of worldly affairs. It can protect you from being unhealthy. It can help you to be healthy by being able to regulate what you eat or live. And also in the arena of education, you can regulate yourself so that you are not there's no laxity, and instead there'll be energy in undertaking this education or any other worldly matters. So if there are something which can depress your mind, where you are liable to become depressed, then also you can regulate yourself and try to uplift yourself. In this way, you can cultivate both your body and mind. So in the worldly matters also, this Atthasamapanidhi, this expression, is very useful, and it's it's a commendable blessing. If one possesses this state, then one can also succeed in other matters. Even if you have not had any past good karma or kusala skillful deeds in the past, or even if you had good past karma, it is not enough, not sufficient to support you. If you are able to regulate your mind, conduct yourself in the right way, possess this Atthasamapanidhi, then you can be prosperous. And you can also fulfill the spiritual perfections for future existences. Now the yogis have come to the practice because they have good karma, they've done good deeds in the past, and if only they can combine this good deed, past good deed can be combined with the present good deed, that is the Atthasamapanidhi, then it is bound to be very good for the future. That's why it is said in the text that because of the past good, you are good in the present. Because you are good in the present, your future is bound to be good, and they will turn like a wheel, rotate like a wheel. Once you are born as a human being, it is important to be a real human being, up to the standard of ordinary human being. More so, if you are able to uplift yourself so that you become above average. So, and the text is given, if you are not able to shape your mind, shape yourself, shape your life in this present life, then if you are not able to transform it, then if you leave it as it is, your life will be more and more lowered, as is given in the Dhamma. Because of the untrained mind, leaving the mind in its status quo, your mind will become more and more lowered, so that your unskillful, unwholesome mind will become more and more unwholesome, unskillful. Now, because you are able to cultivate your mind and to the satisfactory stage, you are cultivating it, improving it, shaping it, so that you become your mind become beautiful. And if you have done that, the cultivated mind will uplift you from the present status, from the initial stage. So it will be able to uplift you more and more. So in a way, the Atasmapaditi is sort of a judge, is a means of judging whether your standard of life is high or low. If you possess Atasmapaditi, then you belong to a high standard. Your life is high, uplifted, in a high position. Whereas if you don't possess this Atasmapaditi, not conducting yourself in the right way, then your life is said to be lowered. So in this way, Atasmapaditi is a standard, is a judge. It is a sort of a means to judge whether you are in the lower position or the upper position. At this point, there is this Pali expression for human being, manusa. Manusa is given in the text as one who possesses energetic and heroic mind. Now when we say energetic, there are two kinds of energy: energetic in a right way or energetic in a wrong way. If one does not shape or fashion one's life, then one will become energetic in a wrong way, will not hesitate to commit unwholesome deeds, even killing one's own parents. Totally does. If one does not cultivate oneself, one's behaviors, then one will be energetic in the wrong way, because one's mind is not fashioned and shaped. It will become worse and worse. So, if one is able to possess energetic energy in the right way, become energetic in the right way, correctly, then one will be able to purify one's life, conduct oneself in the right way, and then purify one's physical, bowel, mental behaviors by knowing the method and cultivating according to the method. And this energetic courage, energetic quality will only uplift that person, so that one's life will become better and better. Such is the difference between energetic in the right way and energetic in the wrong way. So Atasmapaditi is a standard of measurement, it's a means of measuring whether you are energetic in the right way or energetic in the wrong way. So if you possess Atasmapaditi, then your life is uplifted, you're above average. Whereas if you don't possess Atasmapaditi, then your life is lowered. If one is not able to possess this good energetic courage, and not possessing this chance of coming and living in a suitable place, if one has no chance of coming and living in a suitable place, one will not have a chance to depend or take refuge in the virtuous people, good companions. Then if one has no chance of coming into contact with good companions or good virtuous people, then one will not have a chance to listen to the sublime Dhamma. Then if they are combined with lack of Atasmapaditi, that is regulating one's life or conducting oneself in the right way, then because initially one is unskilled, one is bad, and with the untrained mind, combined with the untrained mind, one will become like an animal, full of defilements. So as not to happen not to let this happen, when one has the chance to do so, one should be able to lessen, to reduce these chances of losing the wheels of success, And if one is able to cultivate properly, one will not become like an animal. One will become a real human being. And also, if can cultivate more, one will become above average human being. So as to be free from this, so as to possess metta and karuna, not how to be free from malice and ill will towards others, and instead to possess loving kindness and compassion. Adasamapiniti is more and more important. One should fashion and shape oneself to become more and more like a human being, so that if one can do that from one place to many places, one can spread this, propagate this practice to the entire world, then the world will become peaceful and it will be a pleasant world to live in. That's why Attasamapiniti becomes a means of causing peace in the world. If this energetic, courageous person can practice Attasamapiniti to cultivate one's mind and body, then one can create one's own peaceful little world to live in by cultivating one's behaviors, so that it becomes blameless and pure. Thus, they will come to possess one's own, or one can come to possess one's own peaceful little world. Then it will be quite satisfying, because one will be free from harm, and one will be safe, and at the same time one will not harm the community or the society. Then as for the society, also they can copy this method and practice Attasamapiniti in their own right, so that this Attasamapiniti can spread from one to many and to the entire world, so that if they are combined, they can add up, then the whole world will be pleasant and peaceful. Therefore, Attasamapiniti is paramount in creating this peaceful world. But you can just think in terms of your own experience. If one is able to note meticulously just one moment of mindfulness, with the practice of one moment of mindfulness, then it is composed of, it will be involved the samadhi, the sila sekha, the morality training, samadhi sekha, the concentration training, and panya sekha. All these three things will be involved in just one moment of mindfulness. In this way, with the sila sekha, morality training, one can subdue and extinguish the fires, the internal fires, the coarse form of internal fires. Then with the concentration, one can extinguish the impurities which can arise in one's mind, and with knowledge one can overcome these torturing elements, latent tendencies of these elements on a part-time basis. That is at the time of cultivating knowledge. So in this way, all these internal enemies in three categories, coarse, medium and refined, are overcome. If in 1 minute, at the rate of 1 time per second, then if you are able to know for 1 minute, then 60 times you are creating your own little world, peaceful world, so that you are free from physical and verbal impurities with the sila sekha, and the mental impurities with the samadhi sekha, and when you cultivate knowledge, you will even be able to overcome these latent tendencies. So when you accumulate so many minutes, so many moments of mindfulness, you are accumulating your peace and tranquility. In this way, the practice is to create a peaceful world. So from one's own practice of the peaceful creating of peaceful world, one can indirectly extend to peace in the community, peace to the society, if possible help others. So it is very important for us to create our own little world and then go on to the rest of the society. And such is a commendable and noble practice. Here, for this purpose, Atta Samapatti is crucial. So nothing is as good as shaping your body and mind so that they become uplifted, beautiful and full and complete by practicing the mindfulness of every moment, every second of the time, creating one's own little world, peaceful world, and also causing indirectly peace in the rest of the society. Thus we are helping the world. We'll continue tomorrow. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.